Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Medium's Table. I'm your host, Michelle Gardner. This podcast is your personal invitation to join me at the intersection of the everyday and the extraordinary. Together, we'll explore the magic of mediumship, share spiritual stories, and connect with fellow mediums on this incredible journey. So grab a seat, pour yourself a cuppa, and come join us at the Medium's Table, where spirits gather and stories unfold. Disclaimer, just a heads up to all our lovely followers. Our social media is a space where we share personal stories, including those of various mediums. Let's keep the vibe positive and respect each other's beliefs. Every journey is unique, and here we celebrate the diversity of experiences. I'd like to welcome back to the show Synchronicity sweetheart, Alicia. Welcome back to the show, Alicia.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here again.
You're most welcome. The trials and tribulations sometimes of just getting on the show and hitting that record button, hey?
Just slightly. A little bit of technical difficulties in the corner over there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You know, when is it Siri or what do you call her? Siri? No?
Oh, Alexa.
Alexa. You know. Yeah, it goes off randomly as she does.
Not exactly.
Yes.
But I offer no resistance to helpful assistance.
What the hell was that?
That was not from my house. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's not shush down there.
Shush. Everybody shush. And here's the funny thing. I usually have my AirPods in. Yeah. So we can't. Oh God. Anyhow.
So that just initiated another. I'm not even going to say the word. No names are going to be mentioned there.
No name calling.
No way.
No. We are.
Yeah, because that just went off in my house. It's like, what? And then I think, is this because of the topic we're about to talk about?
Could be.
This has never happened before when any one of us has got together. Never, ever has that gone like in tandem. From one to the other.
That was crazy. That was funny.
There you go. Anyway, I rest my case. The weird things that happen and when we're recording. So before we get started, Alicia, after all of that shenanigans, I would love for you to tell us what it is that you do.
I do a lot of things. I'm a medium and mostly evidential medium, which I give evidence to the person who has passed into spirit. I'm also a trance medium, which allows me to pick up other things a little bit deeper than an evidential medium. And I do psychic work, dream work, animal communication, just a laundry list of things.
Yeah, just a small list, just small, little.
Yes, just tiny.
Exactly. Oh, wow. And there is so much that you do and you're so good at it. And you've had decades of experience in this. Decades.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I hate to even say how many decades.
We don't need to go that far, but just know it is. And you've had, and I know, and in your previous episodes, the amount of phenomena you've experienced, the synchronicities, which, you know, this is something that you're passionate about and that it is your life, the synchronicities. And do you want to just share a little bit about that with the audience for those that might not fully understand what synchronicity means or like what is that?
Synchronicity, to me, okay, is to you have an inside experience, meaning it's happening to you within yourself. Either psychically, you see something, you hear something within yourself, that experience. And then what happens is once you see or hear or feel that experience within you, it will manifest outwardly. In other words, I see a pair of scissors and a duck, and you're walking down the road, and there's a pair of scissors and a duck carrying scissors. I'm just kidding. That's funny, but very much like that. It will manifest outside of you in some way, shape, or form what you have an intuitive within yourself.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be something that's forced, would it? It's something that sort of spontaneously or evolves naturally.
Correct. Yeah, it just happens. I see it, I hear it, I feel it, I'm intuiting it, and then it manifests outside.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It's something that I think that word is used so freely, but is it fully understood is what I always ask. So thank you for those wise words and explaining that to us. And again, it may mean something different to everyone. And this is your perspective. This is your view of synchronicity and what you've experienced. So I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I know what you've got for us today. And I am super excited to share this and be part of it, should I say, more so. You were the one that shared it with me, and I was the one that was horrified at nighttime in the dark, listening and watching like, what? Who sends this to people? But it's exciting. So I'm going to let you take the floor and share with us this journey, what happened, all of it. Go for it.
Well, it started out, I was sitting in my home one day and a friend called and said, "Do you want to go to Arizona? I know you're planning a trip there," because I had scheduled readings there. And I said, "Sure, let me give it a thought." I gave it a thought, and then synchronicities within that popped up. And I just knew I was meant to go. So I said, "Sure, let's go." As any journey starts out, I have no idea. I just know it all flowed and it came together. So found myself in Phoenix and visiting my daughter for 24 hours and then meeting my friend and traveling on to Sedona. Prior to this visit, she asked me, were there any things that might be good to visit, and see while we're there? And I started thinking around the Sedona area because I had lived in Phoenix prior and I had spent time in Sedona. And I thought, what is exciting for us to go besides the metaphysical convention we were going to or the conference? And I thought, oh, well, there's Prescott and there's Jerome. Oh, the ghost town, Jerome. And I thought, that's a little bit of a drive, and I'm not even going to mention it. It's too much. And when we got to the motel that evening, we were sitting the next day waiting for an Uber to come pick us up. And in the hotel lobby, there were papers on the coffee table. And my friend picks one up. She looks at it and she said, "Boy, I'd like to go there. I wanted to just spend the night there on my birthday." And I looked over and it was the Jerome Grand Hotel. And I said, "Oh, that's hysterical, because I'll go with you." And she said, "Well, the other people that are coming, they're afraid and they don't want to spend the night in a haunted hotel." And I said, "Well," and she goes, "Well, you and me, maybe." And I go, "Yeah, I think we should." And we laughed and put the paper down. The Uber driver comes. We get in the Uber and we start driving. And the Uber driver's talking about different places, things, where he's lived, what we should do. And he goes, you need to go to Jerome. And I looked at my friend and I said, oh, looks like we might be going to Jerome. Well, it didn't stop there. We went into Cottonwood, and it's a small town. The Uber had dropped us off, and we went into this old antique store selling clothes, vintage things, And I go up and I see this book that's the Queen of the Bordella, Jerome, Arizona. So she was a madam in Jerome. And I showed my friend, and I said, I think these are all signs. We might be going to Jerome. And we let it go. So on her birthday, she said, I've decided we are going to Jerome. I want to see Jerome and the Jerome Grand Hotel. And I thought, well, imagine that. We're ending up going to Jerome. So there was clearly a calling to go there. The reasoning, I have no idea. Is it just a fun trip? What is it? So what was interesting as we started this trip, many things happened along that trip. One of them was we had set the GPS and we were all piled in this SUV and we just keep following the GPS. Well, the GPS takes us right past the hotel and continues to go out of town. When the driver goes, oh my gosh, it never said rerouting. It never did anything. It was like a glitch. And we ended up in this beautiful lookout place and took photos and then turned around to go back into the hotel, which she put it back into the GPS. So we get to, well, this time it takes us to the hotel. And that's where you see the most beautiful building as you park the car and get out.
Now, this would be, so we've got some screen share to show the viewers, but the listeners, we will describe what you're seeing.
Right. And it's a big, huge entrance that says on it, the Jerome Grand Hotel, with a beautiful set of stairs, just very grand stairs leading up into the building, which clearly looks period correct from between the 20s and 30s. Absolutely just spacious, just gobsmacked. When you look at it, you're like, and it takes you back. It kept taking me back to the 20s and 30s when I would view it.
Yeah. And I never noticed that when I put this screen share together, Alicia, that says asylum.
And this now, yeah, this would be their restaurant is called the Asylum Restaurant.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah. So even though this is the entrance to obviously the hospital at one time, it is now the entrance to clearly the restaurant.
Right. So anyone can just go there and have dinner, or do they have to stay? Like, they don't have to stay to access the restaurant? I'm just thinking if people are thinking of going.
No, we actually accessed the restaurant and we could have eaten there. We chose not to that day. But you can go in there and just look around. It's really, I hear the food is very, very good there. We just did not partake. We came there for another experience.
And it's a beautiful old hotel. It looks, and I can understand why it's called Grand.
Yeah. Now, this isn't as grand looking as the other slide we showed, but this is the entrance to actually the hotel, where you would walk through those double doors and enter, and there's where you would check in, get your room. Okay. And this, again, is very reminiscent of the 20s and 30s with the umbrellas coming over the windows and the window casings. Now, the double doors that have the umbrella coming out that says Jerome Grand Hotel, those double doors were actually, when this was a hospital, before they turned it into the hotel many years later, this would have been where the ambulances would have pulled up. This would have been like the emergency department.
Oh, wow. Right. And you look at those doors, they're not, I mean, they're double doors, but they're not super wide like hospital doors
No.
these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, you could, yeah, no, not at all. Very narrow, comparatively speaking, to today's emergency room doors.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how they've kept it in, with the period, the history.
Oh, that was brilliant. It was brilliant. Now, as you can see, this is from the inside. And again, those doors are not that wide.
No.
No.
And I love the window. So, you know how in the old buildings, they've got the window up the top of the doors. There's a window above the doors that they flip open. Did you notice
to let
that?
the air flow through. Yeah.
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 Oh, wow. They really built them differently in the old days, didn't they?
Oh, they did. Oh, they so did. Now, this is a sketch by a gentleman. It's signed, and it's Scott Culver, and it was sketched in 1944. And it would have been shortly before the hospital would close down and be abandoned for the next 40 years.
Wow. It was abandoned for 40 years.
Yes, yes. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, it was shut down and reopened in 96, I think.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
long time for a building to just sit, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was over 40 years. It closed in 1950. So it had been abandoned for over 40 years before they reopened it in 96. I was correct. In 1996, they reopened it.
Yeah. And
As
in
a
this,
hotel.
yeah. And in this, well, I can understand why. It's huge. In this
Yeah.
sketch, it's kind of like a side bird's eye view to some degree, like from afar. And you don't realize in the photos you've taken just of the front, I mean, you'd never be able to get the vastity of how big this is unless you stood back on a hill and looked down at it. But this sketch sort of shows that view, and it's huge. I would never have thought that just from looking at the front doors, that there was so much more to this building.
Right. And what's interesting also about this building, it is literally built on a cliffside.
Yeah.
So if you're to step out, you're looking down, a long way down. So, like where you saw the double doors for the entrance, for the ambulance entrance, there were cars parked in the car park there. If you look over that, in front of those cars, it's a big, huge drop off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that'd
yeah.
be quite a scenic car park then.
Yes, it was. Actually, it was. When you went over and it overlooked the whole valley, it's absolutely breathtaking. The view is breathtaking.
Wow. All right. What have we got in this one?
And this is an old employee time clock. Can you imagine?
So how would that even work? Like, I'm like, it's not a punch card thing, is it?
No, No, I have no idea. And I just thought this is crazy. It was one of the first time clocks that were ever made. And I think they made them in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the
I,
listeners, I don't even know how to describe it.
I don't either. It's a hard one. It looks like it does have a clock face on it, and it has like almost like a roulette wheel going around it, where
Yeah.
you're going to set the point, and yeah,
Obviously, it
it
registers something and holds information somewhere.
yes, yes. Unlike just looking at something nowadays and it just clocks you in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
come a long way.
Yeah, if the viewers know a little bit more about this, feel free to comment because I'd love to know a little bit more. We could Google it, but right now we're recording. So, but or if you've had
Yes,
an experience with it, or you used to use one, or your grandfather, or it would be interesting to hear firsthand.
100%.
Yeah. So, all right,
Because
let's.
I could find very little information on it, Michelle, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except
Okay.
the year it was made.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what's this one all about here, Alicia?
Oh, this is the elevator. This is an original Otis elevator. It was the elevator that's always been there. And it was the first elevator ever to be used and installed in Arizona. And it was installed in 1926.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's just go back to that a minute. So, yeah, and it's
It looks like you're in a cage.
yeah, for the listeners, it's the old style where you open the door and then there's the sliding concertina metal cage door. And then
Yes.
you slide that across. Oh, wow. Where did I see that
Yeah.
in? There's a TV show where the elevator's always out of order, and it looks like one of those type of. I can understand why. Anyway, if buildings are still using them, I'm not sure if they would be, but
And you had to put a key in it to turn the key to get it to operate. It was really brilliant. It was
wow.
you just stood in there and it took you right back there.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yep.
So I'm just going to point this out as a mother. And for safety issues, if a child was in there, they could put their hands through those bars, couldn't they? If that lift was moving from floor to floor, and
Oh
it
yes.
would be quite devastating, the outcome.
Yeah. Well, no, because the bars are the bars moving? No, they aren't. Yeah, it might
Or
be
the door
bad,
does the door doesn't move with it, does it? The glass, the door
That's
that
right.
slides, it
Yeah,
doesn't move.
No, the door that is slid across does not move. So it's like you're walking, just like regular elevator doors open and you
Yeah.
walk in nowadays. The big red one and then opens and you pull the cage open, you walk in, you pull the cage closed. The red doors that you see, the outside doors, they don't move with the elevator, just the cage moves with the elevator. So you're going up.
All right. All hands by your side, children. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. I can see the dangers.
And what's funny is I was so taken back by the whole experience. I'm not even watching the door, Michelle. So I could be totally off base here. I'm just looking around. It was that awe-inspiring for me.
Yeah. I could imagine stepping back in time like that.
And that's exactly what it felt like to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is stuff horror movies are made of. Do you want to explain this one, Alicia?
This was, I was so impressed by this hallway. And for the listeners out there, if you ever get a chance to view this, The best way to explain this, 100%, I said it when I took the photo. It looks like the shot of the twins in Shining. The long hallway, you're just waiting for them to come out on their tricycles. It really, that's exactly what it was giving of.
Yeah, it is. And it's exactly that. You're just waiting at the end of that corridor for them to just come around the corner on their little tricycles with their little evil smiles. Anyway, and start
And say
chasing.
red rum or something crazy.
Yeah. Start chasing you on their bike. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's impressive, though. It's impressive. I'll give it that. Oh, I love this.
So this was in our room, and I love this, even though this is a replica of the phone from the 20s, 30s. I remember my grandmother having one of these phones, and I had so much fun just looking at the 20s and 30s garb. It was just like I was in my element. And the phone was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so it's one of those big black phones, you see in old movies with that handset. So correct me if I'm wrong, now that I'm looking at that, the finger dial is missing?
That's right. That's why it's a replica.
Okay.
So, yeah. And back in the day, it would have the dial on it. Now, this is a hotel. You just pick it up and say, hey, I want room service or something crazy and hang it up. Yeah. You're not dialing in.
You can still use it. It's still usable.
I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. I just picked it up and, was pretending like I was talking to somebody. So I don't know whether you can really use it or not, but hey.
Yeah, exactly. and I mean, how, no tech whatsoever there. You had to stick your finger in a hole once upon a time, and it was a rotary dial, and turn it around for each number you wanted to do. Yes, that's right. It was a hand workout. Anyway.
Yeah. And that's what I was so impressed with, that they kept things period correct. Look at me. I think I was back in the 20s and 30s. This is me on that phone. And I kept saying to my friend, take another one of me on the phone, another photo. And just because I was like, so 1920s, 30s, I'm just, talking on my phone.
Yeah. Look, in saying that, we had, it was probably more sleek looking, but we did have phones like that when I grew up. Anyway, we won't talk about that because that was a long time ago.
Yeah, like I said, my grandmother had one, and it was so heavy to pick up. The receiver itself probably weighed 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this one, Alicia, this is a video. All right, so let's look at this. Now, this, I'm assuming from this would be the ensuite. Did they have an ensuite? Yep, into the room.
It was the bathroom within the room. Yep. And the crazy thing about this bathroom, Michelle, it felt like I was right back in the 30s. And that's why I took this video. When I stepped into that bathroom, I had all this energy that surrounded me. And I was like, wow, it was as though I was back in time and I was viewing this. The bathroom is all white and it has the older style windows, just like they would have had in the hospital back then, that just have the sash and it opens up with the security, frosted security glass. And the tub, look at that bathtub, Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm like straight out of that era for a hospital, right? This isn't Granny's tub, the claw bathtub where she's relaxing in. This is clearly a hospital tub.
Yeah. And it would have had a shower over that or not?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. There's a shower in there.
So
And
probably behind the curtain.
yeah. And the little cabinet, as we go a little bit further. Now, look at that cabinet. When you opened it up, it had linens in it. And I thought, my gosh, it's just like being there in 1930 something. And I felt it. And the energy for me in the bathroom was very strong. It's like I stepped into a whole nother time.
Yeah, I can understand why. It's dated, but it's modernly dated, if that makes sense. So everything's clean. It doesn't look old and no paint peeling
No,
off the walls or anything like
no,
that.
no. And the tile, they've made it, if it was in ruin, they certainly had somebody who did really wonderful job at rehabbing this to look
Yeah.
period correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautifully restored. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after I had come out of the bathroom, my friend's saying, we're all going to sit for a trance. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess so. And that meaning she and I. So we sat down and I she started and she did her little trance, which told about history, and to be honest, I don't even know what it was because I was in a trance myself. So I don't know. So I would be lying to your listeners right now saying, oh, yes, I know what her trance was all about. No, I have no clue, no recollection.
And can
So,
I just say, is that because you become consciously unaware of what's
well,
the outside?
at this point, yes. At this point, I had become consciously unaware because I'm listening to what I'm hearing. So it's like a radio station, so to speak, that I'm pulling in. And someone was very, Michelle, I wasn't expecting this to happen. When I hear people trance, I hear them, bring in these spectacular beings, Mother Mary, Jesus, Buddha. So I didn't know what to expect. I was, maybe Mother Mary was coming to me. I don't know. Well, no, of course not. No, not in my experience did Mother Mary come. No. And an entity I believed to had been at that hospital at some point in time. I do believe that he came to me and expressed himself through me. The feeling was really intense. When I came out of this, I said, oh my gosh, I said, that was so intense. And I said, the first thing I said, which was interesting, I said, oh, that was so intense. And then I said, it was him. I have no idea who was him. It was like I was speaking about someone who had previously come to me and said, you're going to go up here and you're going to do this. Like, he's my bestie. We're having a conversation with my bestie. And I go, ooh, it was him. And I have no idea who him is or was. But I do believe that was the reason why I ended up, for me, at the Jerome Grand Hotel.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say for the viewers and listeners, we're going to play the video in a moment of Alicia's trance and what was said through her. At the end, it is clear that you say about that was him. or you know what I mean? You specifically say him at the end when you're starting to come out, like you had this knowing. But you can see by the look on your face that you're still in sort of an altered state when you say it, like you're coming out of, it's like coming out of a deep sleep and you're, like, God, that was him. So there was, you could see that and hear that when you watch the video and when you listen. Now, can I just say for the viewers and listeners, when you sent me this video, it was very quiet because I believe the phone was in the back of the room. And
no, it was further away from me, but it was not in the way back of the room. It was maybe, I'm going to say, close proximity, maybe 3 feet away from me to the side. Yeah.
So the audio wasn't it wasn't picking up loudly. I actually had to go into another room, shut the door, turn my phone right up as loud as it could. And even then, I was holding it to my ear and I was just making it out. It was like I really had to concentrate. So I said to you, look, when you send me the video, I'll enhance the audio. I'll just turn it up so we can all hear it properly. Now, when I did that, I wasn't expecting what else came through on that recording, which you cannot hear in the original audio. So we're going to play it and just know that it was dark when I listened to this. I always edit in the dark in the room by myself. And I'm like, who is that? What is that? Why would they be doing that? And then we got together and you said to me, no, that wasn't anyone that I was with. And then we knew, okay, something's going on here. So I don't want to ruin it for everyone just yet. I want you to listen to the audio. Of course, if you're watching, watch as well, but listen to the audio and you let me know, or you let us know what else it is that you're hearing in this room at the same time. All right. Are we ready?
Thank you for coming into my space. I was once here. I was a captive of this place.
How big?
My head is swimming. I have no thought. I cannot think. I wander. I do not know how to leave.
You're happy at what?
The sounds they hurt my ears. I grab my ears and I cry and I cry and I cry and no one hears me. No one hears me.
Nothing calls. Good. What then you think? That sounds good. That is it's a little bit silly, but this is so that cost is good. No damage.
Oh, we must have cut off the bit where you say that was him.
Yeah.
But you do say at the end, that was him.
Yeah.
So I can attest to that. That was actually said. But now for the listeners, I could apologize for the silences, but I did not want to cut out anything in there. I did not want to alter anything. I wanted it to be original, authentic. It was just enhanced, as in I turned the volume up. And I mean, with programs these days, you hit enhance audio and it automatically does it. But in doing that enhancing, it brought out an EVP in that audio. So there were voices that were picked up that clearly were not from the people you were with. You were not speaking those words. Some of them could be made out, some of them couldn't. But they were all different.
They were. Yeah.
And that's when I called you and I'm like, we need to get together. I need you to listen to this audio. Because I was thinking, because I wasn't there and I didn't see who else was with you, I'm thinking, why would they be talking while she's trancing? Why would they do that?
That's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, like the people that you're with, surely they would understand that they need to be quiet in the background. Like, who does that? And I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut all that extra noise out. So I thought, well, okay, before I get too carried away, let's have Alicia listen to it and see what she says about it. And you're like, no, that wasn't anyone I was with. So what were your thoughts when you first heard that when we listened together?
Well, when we listened together, I think my first thought was the very first words that I heard, I thought were, help me. And I remember saying that to you, and you said, yeah, it kind of does sound like that. I forget what what had you heard, Michelle?
I actually, honestly, when we listened to it together, I thought it said something like, help me, God, or something like help me.
That's right.
I was totally on board with you. I'm like, yeah, it does sound like that. But then when I listened, and what I did next was then, when you confirmed that it was not human people with you, and that what you'd actually picked up in that recording was spirit talking in the background. Well, that's when I said to you, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all the pieces of the audio, only where they talk, and try and decipher what, any words I could pick up, which is what we'll listen to in a minute. But when I did that, it was like that where I thought it said, help me, God, changed. Do you want to explain why that happens or how that happens?
Well, years ago, I don't know whether it's the energy, Michelle, and it changes over time. I don't have a good explanation for that. Years ago, somebody sent me a voicemail, old school, somebody left her a voicemail, and in it, you clearly heard at the end, it clearly, I mean, clear as day, go kill yourself. And she said, can you please listen to this? And it did say it, and you could hear it. It was clear. And then after you listen to it, another time, down the road a few weeks, I was going through and I, showing someone and letting them hear what this was about. And it had changed. It didn't sound like go kill yourself. And I don't remember what it sounded like, but it didn't have that anymore. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know whether the energy changes. I don't know. That's a good discussion. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that we still can't explain. Science doesn't know. We don't know. We can only speculate or go by our own experience. But I'm wondering, and it just sort of occurred to me as you were speaking then, I'm wondering whether, because, correct me if I'm wrong, when that spirit came through you, like you said, at the end of the video, you do say that was him. And did you feel then that you had helped someone move on from there? Like it was a patient or a...
I don't even know if it was from there. I helped him, I believe, emotionally release something, because before I ended the trance, I was nowhere near when I went and breathed and exhaled deeply. I was already releasing him. I'm saying, you're all good. You can go now, and carry on. And that's when you hear me, and he's gone. So was he still within the confines of that hotel / hospital? Or was the heavy residual energy of him still there, allowing me to take on that energy to express what he felt at that moment in time.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I've asked you that question, is because could it be, and this is just a possibility, that perhaps he needed to have that give you that confirmation that you did help. He was asking for help, and therefore that what unfolded in that trance was you helping him. So
I believe that to be so. Because once I wrote about it, it was clear. Once I did that, I was good to go.
yeah.
It was like whatever happened, and I could go back to Phoenix and work and do whatever I needed to do.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, and I'm only saying it because the words are on my screen, because I've put some captions to what, I've listened through the audio again, and I've put up some captions on what I think they're saying, what sounds like they're saying. And in that particular part where we heard, when we listened together, "Help me, God," do you know what those words ended up sounding like after I then stripped out each piece? That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Oh.
Now, "help me" doesn't even sound like that's pretty good. That "help me, God" doesn't sound like that's pretty good. Totally different.
No. Yeah.
So, and how can they change audio that's been recorded already? I don't know. How do they even get their voice on there? We don't,
we don't know.
Yeah.
It's all energy, and energy is just that. It's magical, right? We don't know. And I learned years ago, I believe that this is happening. These conversations are happening all around us all the time, but we're not consciously aware of them. Now, somebody who is extremely sensitive might hear more during the day than others would hear. And my favorite one was years ago, I had hurt my back. And I mean, I was in extreme pain. And of course, here they're not going to be giving any type of opioid, and no pain relief, which is fine. So they hand me a bottle of muscle relaxants and tell me these are going to help go home. Okay. So I take one, and what they did was it made me extremely tired. So I just was lying in bed, but it put me in that tween state, and that's all I could hear were people's conversations. And I remember getting up and telling my partner, I go, I can't sleep. That's all I hear is conversations. So I know for a fact when we lower, and get into that meditative state, that I personally was inundated with conversations.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like, oh, Aunt Sue, you forgot to take this out. You didn't do that. So if that can happen just when you're in a twilight sleep, it's happening all the time. We're just not consciously aware of what we're hearing.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe, and I could be wrong, so paranormal investigators, please feel free to correct me.
Yes, let's get them involved, Michelle. Let's get them involved.
Yeah. EVPs, when they're picked up, I do believe are on a different, when spirit speaks, it's a lower frequency or something. There's something like that than what we can hear with our own ears, like while we're consciously aware and awake, like you're saying. But when you enter a different state, different level of consciousness, then you can tune in. But while we're here looking around, our frequency is what I believe to be higher. But when they speak and it gets recorded, it's on a lower frequency. So by enhancing this audio, I've changed the frequency and enhanced it so that we can hear it. Now, if that's wrong, please let me know. Comment, because I want that to be correct. I do want what is, actually correct, like phenomena-wise, and what people know. But that was really interesting. So it then poses the question, and I laugh, but I shouldn't laugh. How many times or how often, or is it continuously, like you say, that if we were to record ourselves on a daily and enhance our audio, what we would hear around us?
Do we want to hear it? It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in those spaces, like you were in that hotel, especially in those spaces. History. There was a lot that would have happened. There would have been a lot of emotion, mental anguish, nervousness, all of that. Probably psychiatric things that were going on, for patients.
Right.
Turmoil, all of that.
And you got to remember, this isn't today where you go in the hospital, you complain of something, they give you anesthesia, knock your patootie out, and you're good to go. No, they didn't have those kinds of things back then. They were probably still bloodletting then. And so there would have been screams of patients, horrendous, This was tuberculosis. And those spaces, just like any space that has had that emotional turmoil, all the trauma, it holds that in that space. And that's why you can feel it. It's like going here in America to Gettysburg, and you see the loop of them, the soldiers marching. Well, I don't think you're ever going to get rid of that because it was so emotionally charged that will hold that energy imprint for a very, very long time. And the same with that hotel. You can take pieces and parts out, but that's when I believe the building holds that energy.
Yeah. It's almost
That's
like
my thought.
The echoes penetrate the walls. Every particle of that building is penetrated by the echoes of the past.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it? All right. So let's listen to the next piece. Now, this is, I don't know why I laugh, because it's not that I find it funny. It's incredible, actually. And it's such a privilege to experience this, because this is not something everyday regular people experience, and it just wows me. So I've cut the pieces where only spirit speaks in the audio, and some of it, now if you're watching, I have put captions up. Unfortunately, I apologize for the listeners, but in some of it you might hear, in the first bit, that's pretty good, Houston, we've got Jones, there's a few other pieces, so listen carefully, and what I'm hearing, you may be hearing something different. So let's just go back a fraction here and let's take a listen.
Pretty good. Have a good foot. This that sounds good. That is it's a little bit similar. This is so that we passed get things
Now, there was a whole bunch there that I could not decipher what they were saying. It was fast, and I did try to slow it right down, but it made it even more inaudible. It just wasn't working. But that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. It blows my mind.
Yeah. And in such a short piece of video that was captured with just you in trance, just in that short piece, how much was on there, and continuous. And a lot of it was continuous.
Yeah.
So what I've done here is the next piece you'll hear is I've taken out the piece that had the most activity in it, the most talking. And I've reduced it by 80%. So you will hear it does sound deeper because it's now slowed down. But it can be more audible. You can start to pick up a little bit more as I've slowed the audio down a little bit. So let's take a listen. It's only a short piece, but let's have a listen to what is said.
Yes, that sounds that is a little bit. So this is.
So there you have it. I just actually now when it says Houston, it almost makes, I'm thinking I'm hearing now, this is him or something. I'm like, hang on, maybe that says something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because we do know that the voice to text can be off, right? Because I see it when I'm editing my videos and I'll say, that's not what I said. I said this word. So it makes, so even then it's left to interpretation, right?
Yeah. And I actually, now that you mention that, I did try and do, I don't know why that started playing. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
That wasn't even the video we were playing. That was
all these odd things are happening through this podcast. It's really
I know
odd.
that audio is way back halfway through the screen share and just randomly gone back to that and started playing. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I'm just going to go back to what we were talking about, and I want to share something out of this because this phenomena and exactly like you said, this recording, this interview has been a little bit wild and unusual. So to start with, I just want to clarify, I did go and try and do auto captions on just the audio and it wouldn't pick them up. Auto captions got nothing. So I actually had to listen and I've put those in there manually myself on what I could hear. So auto captions wouldn't pick it up, even enhanced, nothing. Even
oh wow,
yep, even at the 80%, reduced, but nothing.
Oh, so that wasn't auto captions.
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
No. It wouldn't. It just wouldn't pick them up. And I run a pretty big and popular program.
Yeah.
That's pretty sophisticated. So yeah, no, wasn't doing it. So here's something that I want to quickly share, and this goes in line with how audio can change, like the manipulation. I don't know what you want to call it, the transference energy. So I'm here at that night after we spoke, and I'm cutting the pieces out and slowing it down and listening and trying to get it right, putting it together for this interview. And I'm thinking, I wonder, and I shouldn't do this. I don't know why I do this to myself. And it's dark and it's, late and I'm about to go to bed. And I'm thinking, I wonder if I'm listening to this. Now, viewers, don't do this. Don't try this at home. If I'm listening to this, does that mean spirit can come through and they know I'm listening and they could visit me or they could inspire something to happen, some other phenomena, even though I'm in a totally different country, I'm in Australia, but I'm just listening. Does that make me then part of that activity, like a portal?
Right.
I got my answer that night, didn't I? I woke up. I thought I was awake. I was in sleep paralysis and my leg was being shaken and held up in the air, and I'm trying to wake up thinking, and I can't speak. I can look and I know I'm laying in my room. I know it's dark and my leg's being shaken and I'm abruptly awakened by what the hell is going on here. And then I'm like, wake up, Michelle, wake up. You're trying to whatever to wake up.
Yeah.
And then after a little while, I did wake up out of what I thought was already an awake state. I was trapped in a dream that I couldn't. Oh, it was like the stuff nightmares are made of. You think you're awake. You're like, what the hell's going on? No, I know I'm awake. I'm even talking to myself and analyzing. No, I know I'm awake. I can see my room. Like I'm trying to come back into a conscious awareness to snap out of it.
Right.
But yeah. that leg was anyway. And then I woke up from a paralysis state where I couldn't speak or move, but spirit was doing what they want. So I'm like, okay, all right. Yes, you've answered my question. Thank you. You can go now.
Now, was that the same night you had the other dream? The doctor?
No, that was after that. That was after that. Oh, before that. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, actually, that may have been.
I thought they both happened the same evening.
You've just joined some dots for me then. That may be why I've had my leg issue for the last couple of days. Remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't hurt myself. I know I didn't. It's the same leg. Oh, should I edit this out? No, let's leave it in.
Let's leave it in. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you've just helped me join some dots then. That's interesting. And it makes me wonder the state of being in that, I'll call it sleep paralysis. Are they also transferring to me? See, this is where I don't go into fear. I go into logic. Okay, what are you trying to show me? Yes, okay, you gave me the answer. And by doing that, vigorous shaking of my leg and putting me into that state, I was not going to forget that. I was going to remember.
Right. Yeah.
But also, were they also showing me that there were patients there at that time who may have felt like they were in that state, trapped. Their mind was still active, but they couldn't move, they couldn't speak, whether it was illness, I don't know, whatever. But, to have an understanding of where they're at or they were at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to say to the viewers and listeners, don't think that when you're watching this. And now you're just going.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they're going to do it anyhow, Michelle, because, maybe your viewers are like us, just bad children, naughty. Okay, we're going to go do it anyhow.
Exactly. Don't push that button. Oops. Okay, why?
Why? Done.
Sorry.
But it does leave a lot to the imagination or the potentialities of what could happen, because we don't know. Energy is energy. It moves. It can take a life on a life of its own. And yeah.
And I love the fact again how all the dots join with you went to all the signs or the nudges from spirit about going to the Grand Hotel, to going there, to experiencing that trance state, totally unaware of what else was on that recording.
Yeah.
And then sharing it with me, and then as we do, oh, wow, that'd be, we should talk about, that's really great, and the synchronicities that happened for you and how that all, unraveled and the experience you had. But at that time, unaware of what you really had going on there.
Yeah, totally unaware.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, wow, that's an incredible and a brilliant capture of audio and spirit and what's possible. So,
and, it for me, it was, this is, and this from where I've been at and where I'm coming from. I had just started my blog, right? And I need to write, and I've had stories saved. That wasn't the issue, but I had never taken a story and did it live time, meaning took synchronicities and recorded them as I did them live time to see if anything would play out. Because there are plenty of places I know I was synchronistically led, and yes, things happened, but this was step by step of people, places, things, that I documented, that I took pictures of, that I wrote about. And there it ended right there in Jerome. But did it, Michelle?
Yeah.
Because, should I tell the listeners what happened about the other photos I had taken? So we were walking after we spent 25 minutes in that room doing a trance and looking at the property and left, and maybe a little bit longer. But one of the things that happened, we were walking through the town and everybody's, walking, and here's Alicia with her camera. Oh, I got to get a better picture of this. Another picture. And I kept taking one more picture of this building, and I could not let it go. And they're like, come on. And I'm like tripping, trying to take the photo. And I got the photo and we continued on. Well, I was doing my event back in Phoenix, and a lady came in and she said, oh, where have you been? And I told her we'd been at the Jerome Grand Hotel. And she said, well, I know a place that's even more haunted than that, where I experienced more. And I go, oh, do tell. So she says the name. And I went, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. And I said, that name really sounds familiar. And she says, well, it's above this. And I said, oh my God. And I went right to my phone. I looked, and I had the 4 pictures of the place she was speaking about. Those were the photos I had taken. So is it calling me back? We don't know. But what we do know, the synchronicity will lead me there if it's meant to.
Yeah. And it's not a foreknowing, so to speak. It's almost like taking, and I'm so glad you've taken all those photos on this journey, because you're aware of the synchronicities and those callings, that it's almost like taking photos of all the breadcrumbs, not really knowing where it goes, that path winds, but you're just going to keep going. Where will it go? Who knows? So it'd be interesting to see what happens after this and the continuation. Will it continue? Yeah. Will it not? But we won't know until it happens.
Right.
I love it.
And that was, and I think I told you this, Michelle, when we last did podcasting, that the blog that I've started has allowed me to see, wow, that's why that happened, or that's what I learned from that.
Yeah. And that's evident right there of, people talk about journaling's important. When you start writing and you start documenting your own journey and story, more things unfold in it. Realizations. Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, now I see that. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like clarity happens. There's clarity.
Yeah.
And a bigger picture.
Yep. And let's face it, when you're writing it, that's energy. You're creating more energy, Yeah,
I love it. Oh, so exciting. And so the Jerome Hotel seems to be the place to be, but will Alicia go back and visit the other place that's supposed to be more active? Well, now you know to definitely audio record everything. And
100%. Yes. Yeah. And we are not going to tell your listeners, because we don't want them running all the way there to just see this other place.
Exactly. We'll keep it a mystery for now. It's a mystery. So,
just for now.
Yeah,
just
for now. Exactly. Stay tuned. Watch this space. Thank you so much, Alicia, for being on the show. Now, you have blog posts about this. You have many blog posts about many journeys in your life on your website. That being said, where can people find you so they can go and read about these?
Yes, go to my website, synchronicitysweetheart.com, because it is all just synchronicity, sweetheart.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can also find Alicia on Facebook, Instagram. Have I missed any? Are you on YouTube?
And I am. I'm doing shorts on YouTube.
Yay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So you can reach out to Alicia. She also does readings. She does events, venues. Please reach out to her. And if you've got questions or you would like to book her, she is available in a nice way, in the best possible way.
In the best possible.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing your journey and this audio, an amazing find that we can share with the viewers and listeners. And I look forward to having you back on the show very, very soon.
And thank you, Michelle, for having me and making this podcast available to everyone, because there are so many different people that come on here and speak about their journeys. And wow, you can learn so much from others' journeys.
To view the show notes, head over to themediumstable.com.au. If you want to watch these episodes, head over to our YouTube channel, The Medium's Table Podcast.